What is it that make people not use Techeiles? What shita should one use? Let me tell you, Rabbi said, there are 100 reasons to do something and 100 reasons not to do something. One of the least important reasons, sometimes it has to be considered. That's true, you can't ignore it completely. But one of the least important reasons is not to do something because it identifies you as being a member of a certain political party. So, if you voted with the Liberal Party, there used to be a big party in New York called the Liberal Party, and they sort of phased themselves out of existence. And so if somebody wants to be a good member of the right party, so he has to do all the things that those party members do, and not do any of the things that the opposition does, and so on. But when you want to take a look at the Techeiles, and you'll say that if by wearing it you identify with a certain political movement, and by not wearing it, so then you identify with another political movement, and you examine your allegiances, and it determines that you belong to this movement, and that you do what this movement does. So all of a sudden you become a member of some kind of movement, and the other people in the movement, they come over to you, they say, look, we're very happy that you joined our party, but right now we got a list of 100 requirements that you have to do, because which all the members of our party have to follow. They tell them, gentlemen, you're very nice people, but everything that you do outside of this one thing is totally absurd. So I'm not going to do one single thing that's going to make you feel that I'm a member of your party. I do what I do because it's right, not because I'm not going to become a card-carrying member or not a card-carrying member. The question of Techeiles is the thing that caused a tremendous uproar 100 years ago. The Ziner Rebbe was a very, very great Talmid Chacham. He wrote a couple of sforim explaining why he felt that using the cuttlefish or the squid and blending it with certain chemicals, which was a Techeiles that was forgotten, and it's not around any longer. And it's true, Techeiles wasn't around for hundreds and hundreds of years. But there were a lot of kashas and a lot of difficulties with the Techeiles of the Ziner, although there are still people who use it. There's no question. But the Techeiles of the squid, that was the cuttlefish. Coming from the squid was the second attempt, and that also is very difficult. But the Techeiles coming from the Murex snail fits in with 99% of the requirements, although you'll have to stretch things a little by saying, because I'll say it's doim yam, and it's done. The fact that it's a dog, Rabbi said, that just has nothing to do with the issue at all, because every sea creature in the whole world is called a dog. That's the lashon of Chazal. What you think of a dog is something that could be associated with gefilte fish and herring. It looks just right, but when it appears in a big bowl by a bris, that's not what makes a dog. There are a lot of very strange-looking sea creatures, and they're all called dogim shebiyam. That's nonsense. But to say that there are certain simonim, the murex. I'm not going to talk about the details. It should also take a couple of hours, not till the end of the summer, but at least a couple of days. But the main thing is what was the makabeh patish by myself was something else entirely. Because I I thought about this for 20 years, and I was in contact to discuss it with the people who advocated it, with the people who wrote about it, and I read everything. But the final Makam passage that convinced me was that in the area of Shevet Zvulun, which is the Yarchosai al Sidon, and Sidon is just north of Eretz Yisrael, and Sidon is really from Phoenicia, and it's a Goyish land. It's just beyond the borders of Eretz Yisrael. But don't forget that Sidon is part of Eretz Yisrael in the future, because when the Gvulim, which are in Pashas Masek, which we just learned 2 days ago, when those Gvulim will be achieved, also lovely, and we hope that will be Mamish, Yeshua Hashem Gerevayim. And look at those Gvulim, so Sidon will be there. Saf Kol Saf, Zvulun l'chayf Yam Yishkoin, V'u l'chayf Aniyos, V'Yarchosai al Sidon. Right, the big port in that part of the world is north of Eretz Yisrael. The port of Haifa is not a natural port. The ports in Ashdod are also not natural ports. The ports that are made by making the breakwater out in the sea, so the ships can dock at the breakwater. The natural port is in Tzor and Sidon. That's where, like in New York City, where big giant ships could ride straight up to the street and unload their schore, and people could climb onto the ship right from the street. If you ever walked along the upper west side, the lower west side actually, you'll see what I mean by natural port. And the same thing in Newark, it's all one big port. Now, the port of Sidon is the place where the Eurex found it, but they discovered a couple of years ago, was huge caches, C-H-E, caches, big tremendous storage, where they kept the shells when they finished working. Factories, in other words, there were huge factories where the fish were processed, where the uric snails were processed, and where the dye was extracted, and it was used for making Techeiles. Why did Techeiles phase out of existence? Why did we forget about it? And why wasn't it used? Well, it happens to be that Roman history, the emperor, who was very proud of his good looks and his imperial position, and anybody who challenged it would have his head chopped off immediately. So he wanted that the Techeiles should be royal blue, and the only one who wears it should be the emperor himself, and whichever people were close to it. And Umor Chayotza, what does it say? Bilavush Malchus Techeiles. Right? Now, the Romans therefore decreed on pain of death that any private citizen who wears Techeiles could be imprisoned and killed because he's insulting and challenging the uniqueness of the emperor. The emperor felt about himself. It's the epitome of polygaiva that could possibly exist. And the emperors also, of course, in due time were phased out, as much as the Techeiles and the imperial Rome went the way of like one very notable American said, the ash heap of history. So that was the end of Rome, and the end of all their edicts. And since the only ones who were wearing Techeiles were the Roman emperors, so no one wore Techeiles any longer. and but the factories are still there. They're under the ground, and you can see the refuse, and that shows that they processed the murex. And there's no place which indicates they processed the cuttlefish or the squid or any of the other contenders for the Techeiles. So after everything said and done, and after the rayas and the kashas and the truths and the pulim, to me that was the Magma Patish. And that's all I want to say about that. Okay. Yeah, it's late. So we're up to number 10, huh? Good.
Should I?